You're tuned into Inside Lowell. Inside Lowell podcast brought to you in part by Washington Savings Bank, serving the greater Lowell community for over 130 years. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank.
WellPoint. Unicare is now WellPoint. New name, same commitment to Massachusetts. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point.
Boston North Company, offering a wide variety of business solutions to help restaurant and retail clients save money. Boston North. Mahoney Oil Company, providing warmth and protection to families in Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. That's Mahoney Oil. Francis E. Preventia Insurance. For auto, home, business, and life, trust the agency Greater Lowell has counted on for more than 40 years. Francis E. Preventia Insurance. GoPuff, a grocery store right at your fingertips. Use the code Lowell20 to receive $20 off your first order of $21, plus free delivery. Download the GoPuff app or visit gopuff.com today. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Tsongas Center in Lowell. Get your tickets today by visiting masspirates.football.com. And now, time for another Inside Lowell podcast. Inside Lowell. If Lowell is your home, this is your place.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Inside Lowell podcast. I am your host, Teddy Panos, coming to you from the WellPoint Studios here in beautiful downtown Lowell. Unicare is now WellPoint. New name, same commitment to Massachusetts. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. We thank our friends at WellPoint and all of our sponsors for helping to make this podcast, all of our podcasts, and all of Inside Lowell, for that matter, possible. And we're excited today to welcome a young man who you probably know. By now, he's a pretty well-established figure here in the city of Lowell on a number of fronts. He's also a political candidate in 2024, seeking, once again, the 18th Middlesex State Representative seat. Tara Hung, welcome here to the studios, the WellPoint Studios. Glad to have you with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
It's great to have you here, and we should also say that you have been a sometime contributor here to Inside Lowell, so we appreciate that. Though now I think we're going to have you go away from that a little bit now that you're a candidate. But you ran back in 2022.
That's right.
In the 18th Middlesex District. The incumbent Ratty Mom beat you by, I think it was 56 votes.
That's right.
If I remember correctly, you probably remember better than I do, right?
Yeah.
That was a three-way race that also included School Committeeman Dominic Lay. You're in a three-way race again this time, by the way. A new candidate has jumped in, at least a three-way race. But let's talk about you. Why are you taking another bite at the apple? Why are you running for the seat again?
Right. So you mentioned already, I ran already in 2022. We lost by 56 votes. It was pretty close. It showed that the community is ready for change. Community want new voice, new representation in the district. And that's why I'm running again this year. I'm running to focus on to bring a better constituent service system in our community. We need a strong leadership, strong commitment from the state representative to bring real change and real representation to the community. Mm-hmm. And I'm only 23, and I have the energy, the motivation to just continue doing the work for the people.
I have to say, I can't believe you're 23, because that means you were 21 last time.
Right.
So you're literally just a baby. But what you talked, if I remember correctly, constituent services was a key component in your campaign in 2022 as well, and you're going to make it the case again.
Correct.
What else have you learned from that race? Did you learn anything from that race that you want to do a little bit differently this time? The experience helps you in every facet of life, right? How did 2022 help prepare you, make you perhaps a better candidate in 2024?
Yeah, in 2022, we were able to knock on the door, all the doors that's in the neighborhood, right? I able to have those personal conversations with people in the district. So I learned more about what are the real issue, what are important issues that we need to talk on, we need to address on, right? Constituent service is one of them. Some people in the district still doesn't know that what does a state representative do? And do we even have a state representative role in the district, right? And that's need to be bring more attention to it. And also I learned more about issue like education, affordable housing that we've been talking for the past few years. And I think that we need some better representation and leadership that can help advocate that issue at the State House. And I'm running this year to do that on behalf of the people in the 18 Middlesex district.
One of the reasons I think I thought you were a lot older than you were when you first ran in 2022, and I think a lot of people, because you've been around, while that was your first campaign, you have been around the city and the political scene. You've been very active. You were with the CMAA, I believe.
Correct.
You've been working with Project Learn up until this year,
right,
if I remember correctly, and a number of other nonprofit organization ventures. Tell us a little bit about that background so people have a little better sense of how you kind of came to be this political figure.
So story about that. So I'm originally from Cambodia. I came here in 2013 with my family, my sister, my mom, and my stepfather, who sponsors here, right? So like many other immigrants, is to seek hope and opportunity. This new world, this new society we in here. And when I got here, I went through a Lowell public school, MCC, UMass Lowell, have able to gain that experience, gain the knowledge about the community. And especially when I'm able to start speaking English in high school. It took me a while, but senior year, the end of junior year, go to senior in high school, able to communicate in English to people, make conversation, connection, those kind of stuff. And I start to put myself, bring myself into the work of community work, because I believe that if I have a voice to able to speak, communicate, resources and skill to help other, why not use that to help other in the community, right? And that's what I did. I started volunteer work with CMAA, Lowell Public School, gain some experience on educational side. Sooner or later, I want to become a teacher as well. That's my other passion besides politics. But my main goal when it inspired me to work in this field is get people to vote, educating people why voting is important. We live in a democratic country, and you have a voice, you have a civic duty to go and cast your ballot every election. In my country, we don't really have that. It's completely opposite when I come here. So that's one of the main point that inspired me to be in this work. And the more you put your feet in it, the more issue, the more problem you see that you really want to help push for change, for the better of it.
So you came here when you were 13. The original wave, the first big wave, started arriving in the 80s of the Southeast Asian immigrants. You said you came in 2013. Right. I would imagine you're one of the few people your age, one of the few Southeast Asians your age that has that kind of story. Right? Most of the people your age now have already been here. They're what, second or third generation, right? Right. So how do you find yourself able to relate? Are you better able to relate to the 23-year-olds in the Southeast Asian community, or the elders who actually made the trek in the 80s and 90s to America?
Both, and in my experience so far, both, because of my work at CMAA back then, I able to learn how to communicate with older generation in my community, and also working with younger folk as well because of my age and my look. And those my name is kind of stuff, right? To able to make both connection and yeah, to answer that, I think I'm able to work with both group of people. I know age can be in between, but it's easy when you come down to the goal and the plan of what you want to do for it.
Yeah, so somebody sitting here, my parents came here, and then I see the next generation, including my kids that were born. Like, I don't know how they relate to each other. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. So I'm curious, how you kind of see how has the Southeast Asian community changed. And one of the things I see, it's gotten a lot more politically active. First, I think when they first started arriving, they were just kind of happy to be here, trying to make a life for themselves. You're trying to find a place to live, put food on the table. And then with, the election of Riddy Young as the first first Southeast Asian council member across America, I believe.
That's right.
And then the guy you're running against, Ratty Mom, was the first Southeast Asian elected state representative, right? And then we had 𝒐𝒏𝒕 𝒔𝒊𝒐𝒔 become the first Southeast Asian mayor in the city of Lowell. It strikes me that your community has really started to get politically active, and I kind of see you as the natural extension of that.
Thank you. Which is good. You know, we have more Cambodian Americans start rising up and be a part of the community and the system we have here in the city. Like you mentioned already, there's a few different waves that Cambodian American came to this country. You know, we have the Khmer Rouge, the people, the group of the wave after the Khmer Rouge, and my generation, and now, right? My generation, we came here because we want to seek opportunity. We want a new life. Like we choose to come here, and for the people before me, they have no choice. They come here because of war and genocide. And people now who come here, they also have choice and money as well when they come here, which is different from my generation. When I come here with no money, we literally start our new life here in the city and this country, and for now, I'm really glad to see more people, Cambodian American, more an Asian community itself, to start being involved and participate in the democratic process. But coming down to run against the first Cambodian American state representative in the state and the United States. Our political point of view a little bit different from where I stand, from what I want to do for a community, and what I believe in the democratic process as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about some of these issues. Constituent services, that was your thing the first time around as well. One of the main criticisms of the incumbent, Representative Ratty Mom, and you've leveled it in the past as well, is that he just is not accessible to the community. People don't see him around. Do you feel that that is still the case, that he's not as visible? And you're nodding your head, yes, I think that's my answer. So what are you going to do? How are you going to be more accessible to the community, or how do you see what you're going to do as being more accessible?
Right. One of my big plan and goal when I got elected this year to be in that position, first is to create office hour. Have an office in the district like Representative Howard doing right now, right? To be accessible, be responsive to people, and send out new letter, engage on social media. While majority of our people in the district use Facebook and Instagram to be one of their part of communication. We have a lot of neighborhood groups that they use Facebook to send out meeting date, meeting agenda, and so on. That is the way that we can use to communicate with each other, right? And the other part is that I'll plan to answer your email, answer your phone call, willing to sit down and talk to you, to find a solution together to help improve a district better, right? And again, I'm 23. I still have the energy. I'm willing to wake up early in the morning to sit down with you if we have to get the job done for the people. And that's what I'm planning to do. And to talk about Representative Mom, I was a little bit disappointed from last election that the work that we did to address the issue, to point that this is what you have not done for the community, and he still have not been doing it for the people. He still have not really showing up for people in the community to represent them only on election season. You see him right now because of election season, and that's need to be changed. We need to have a elected official who show up year round and represent the people in the district.
How much of that criticism, and you're not the only one who's levied it, others have, especially in the Southeast Asian community, how much of that is based in reality that he's not around, and how much of it is based on the fact that there exists this political divide also among the Southeast Asian community based on politics back in Cambodia, and that you and Representative Mom are on the other side of that? Right. Is that at the heart of these complaints?
Well, I think it's just I don't think that should be in one of the reasons why you're not showing up for people, right? Because you're an elected official. You're supposed to serve no matter who they are, what party, what political issue they stand on, right? You're supposed to serve everyone in the community. And coming down to that issue, not being active in the community, everyone's saying that. Every door that I knock to, every door we knocked in 2022 and we knocked so far in this year election, people keep mentioning the same thing. we don't have a real representation. We don't have someone who can work for us and answer our phone call and email when we reach out to them too. And that's our tax money paid in that position. And we need someone that actually can do all of that for the community. Right? Coming on to Khmer politics, it's Khmer politics, he support the current political party in Cambodia, which is say something about it where his democratic value is. But I support democracy. That's why we talk, we protest, we speak up against the political system in Cambodia right now, and that this is not democracy. Man, who appoint their son to be the prime minister of Cambodia? We can talk about later, but that's yeah.
But is that at the core, though, I get the sense that a lot of that criticism may not necessarily have to do with the issues that are important here, whether it's education or building that new Rourke Bridge or taxation, guns, and that stuff. I see a lot of this as the divide over back home. And I will say people in Representative Mom's camp have told me he doesn't get invited to a lot of the events that are being put on by the other side, and then he gets criticized for not being visible at these events. Is there any truth to that? You said we shouldn't be divided over that stuff. We, regardless of what, you should focus on the people in this community. Right. Do you feel that both sides are making an effort on that front?
Well, I would say that outside, the society of people who believe in democracy, we're willing to sit down with him and talk with him, right? It's the matter of how is he willing to do that with us. And the events that we have, I don't put it together. It's the CNRP people, CNRP group, the Cambodian Refugee Party group, put together to promote democracy, ask people to be engaged and help us push change in Cambodia. That's a public event that anyone can show up. I don't get invited to this kind of stuff either. I saw on social media, that's why I show up. Facebook, that's one of their main communications system that they use, right? And for his event, I don't get invited to that either because they know where I stand. I don't see on Facebook until after it finished because, I don't know. But I believe that, come to the points that at certain point of it, we have to find our common ground to work together. Willing to sit in a room together and discuss how can we work together to improve the Khmer community here, the community here in the 18 Middlesex district itself, not just Cambodian people, but everyone in it for the better. But we don't have that leadership at the moment.
Okay. And for anyone watching this who feels we've spent maybe too much time on that and not enough on the issues in the district. And I'm generally one of those people. I want to talk about those issues. I think in this particular race, though, as in 2024, I think that's a big part of what's out there in the electorate, because the electorate is so big, so heavy with the Southeast Asian population. So I wanted to at least address those things. But let's talk about some of the other issues out there. You were with Project Learn, and you've also spoken at some recent school committee meetings. Education is a big focus of yours. How can you help improve education from your seat if you're elected? What could you do to further the education of people, not only in your district, but really throughout the entire city and the state, for that matter?
Well, the reason why education is one of my main issue that I'm planning to run on and advocate for at the State House is because, one, as someone who came here with no English, low public school and the public school system in the Commonwealth itself have helped prepare me in so many ways for my personal life, for my career, and so on. And that's what got me to where I am today, to be able to sit here and ask to be as a candidate for state representative, right? And for that point of it, I also have a passion in the education field as well, hoping one day to become a teacher, to help inspire a younger generation to be more active in the community. I'm a little bit history nerd, social study. That's what my field I want to teach in the future. Not right now, but in the future. But my main advocacy for this is to, first, I think we need to help improve our teacher pay. Teacher in Cambodia, we're talking Cambodia, teacher is one of the most respected person ever in the community. they like the second parent to our student, and everywhere they go, they have full respect. And in our community right now, I don't really see that at the moment, because I understand that everyone just come back from COVID-19, and I believe that we need to bring that culture back to like respect teacher, and let's offer them a well-paid job that they can work fully and focus on educate and help prepare our student to be better. There's a bill on the floor right now called an act relative to educator pay that I will co-sponsor if got elected, to help push that to bring better pay for our educator, and help advocate for more change, better curriculum that can teach our student for that future.
So you believe teachers are underpaid in Massachusetts. What's fascinating is I was at a Chamber of Commerce Community Connections event where all these city and town managers were around. And one of the big complaints of the town managers is they're getting screwed on education funding from the state. The state has cut down the formula, and now they're finding themselves in big budget holes. So there are two things I want to ask on that. The first issue is 80% of your education money is payroll. As it is right now. And that means what the teachers get paid weekly, but also their benefits, health insurance, retirement, etc. You want to raise that though. So how are you going to raise the money to pay for that? Or if you're not going to raise taxes, where are you going to cut the money from to pay for higher teacher pay?
Well, the last election we ran, there's a question, the fair share amendment, pay your fair share from the top, from the rich top 1% people in our community. I think that's something that we can look at it again and make that happen, because we don't want to raise taxes.
It passed.
No, it passed.
It passed, and you still have a lot less money than you used to have. And might I add, the state also has, not all of it goes to education, but we were told the fair share amendment was going, that's okay, it happens to me all the time. So we were told the fair share amendment was going to fix a lot of that. It didn't. We were told that marijuana money was going to help. We're still having budget holes, and Lowell is going to have to do some education cutting. Gambling, casinos, now online gambling. We keep coming up with all these new ways to put revenue in, and we still are saying we have to cut from or we don't have enough money to pay for our education and lots of other things.
Correct.
By the way, what's state government doing wrong here? Are they not taxing enough, or are they spending too much money the way you see it?
Ooh, I don't know. I think that the fair share amendment been passed, but it's just too early to like get that into a revenue for our state, right? Let's using that and focus on that more for the next few years to see how it's gonna go, and for improving our educational pay, right? I believe that there's always ways to make it happen, right? I'm saying the starting pay of our teacher and our paraprofessional is pretty low. That's the bill tax itself, an act educator relative to educator pay. It mainly focused on, let's start at $65K a year for teachers to start to able to start their career, and paraprofessional at $45K. And right now, if lower than that, that's no way you can live in this society, because everything's so expensive, and we need to. That's another discussion that we need to work on it. But I think that I believe there's money out there, but it's a matter of how we use it right? There's a lot of spending, a lot of issue in our community, but I think we just need to talk more together, be more inclusive to get where we want to go to.
So one issue that's really been in the news over the last 2 weeks, the governor announced she basically needs another $890 million to pay for the migrant crisis. Correct. So it's close to $1 billion. That money's coming out of education money. That money's coming out of a lot of other things. Is it time for the governor to change some of the way she's handling this migrant crisis, specifically the right to shelter, which when originally passed was intended for folks who were already living in these communities, battered women, women in abusive relationships, etc. But now has been expanded to this emergency migrant crisis, which is, as we just found out, costing nearly $1 billion. Is there time to rethink that?
I think the government doing a good job of trying to maintain that together. I mean, continue saving the people who migrated here from Haiti and Venezuela. Those people came here with no choice. Like the first wave of Cambodian American come here because of gang violence, threatening. Cambodia first wave, the first wave Cambodia came here because of genocide. And similar to what they dealing now, they came here with no choice. I think the governor trying her best to maintain the situation. I know there's a lot of money spending and a lot of money needing more to keep that program and the support going for those migrant people. But like one of the state senators say on the House floor is that the federal government need to play their role as well in this issue. The Congress people and the Senate people keep playing politics up there, and they need to actually have a real discussion on how can they help and support state and that they have dealing with this migrant crisis at the moment, shelter and so on, right? We're gonna hit to a point that we don't have the resource, we don't have the money to support those families anymore, and that's gonna be tragic. Awful situation, right? But the federal government need to stop playing politics, and I know Congresswoman Lonchan been doing a good job and try to fight for that and advocate for that. But we need more people like her over there to help advocate to bring more money to the state.
So we've been talking about this crisis on InsideLowell since August. The governor admitted it, declared the state of emergency in September. It's been about 7 months now. Federal government isn't sending any help. I think that should be pretty clear right now. So with that in mind, is it time for Massachusetts to enact some steps? And would you fight for any of those steps? Because not every state has this issue. They're not really complaining about it in New Hampshire. They're not. There's a lot of other states where this isn't an issue. You hear about it in Massachusetts, you hear about it in New York, you hear about it in Illinois, you hear about it in California. You also heard about it in Texas and Arizona, which are the main border crossing states. But if the federal government doesn't help, what would you do as a state rep? Would you continue to just kind of support the governor in her policies, or would you start to look for some changes?
Well, if this plan that we have right now, it doesn't work, we definitely have to find a better solution to help solve this issue, right? I personally, since I'm not in that kind of position right now, I don't really know what is the step you can take to deal with it, right? Personally, but I believe that our country is an immigrant country. We have to find a way to help solve this problem together. But at the same time, as a state representative, we can help push for more and for more support from the federal government. We need to actually, force them to do so. The federal government is playing politics up there. They are playing politics, and we need to stop that. This is coming down to people life, and not just the migration community, but the people who live in the community as well. It's affecting, and we talk about it every day, and it's become a real and important issue since October. And I believe that we need to be more strong-handed to force those people up there to stop taking recesses and actually do the work at the House of Representatives.
If you can figure out a way to get the federal government to stop playing politics, please run for Congress instead of a state rep. I want to touch on one more thing before I give you a chance to tell people how they can learn more about your campaign. Affordable housing. As we were chatting off air, you mentioned affordable housing is a big issue for you. It's been a major talking point here in Lowell and in your district. What do you think of the governor's housing bill? Are you in support of it? If not, are there parts that you'd like to change? And B, what types of legislation would you try to propose to assist with affordable housing?
First, I want to touch base on the community we have right now, right? At Lowell Housing Authority, CBA, CTI, been doing a really good job, amazing job actually, to building affordable housing and offering those affordable housing to community in needed, especially the acre crossing that we're gonna is starting offering right now, which is really good for the people in the community. And I know that the Lowell Housing Authority plan to build more affordable housing in the acre and then around the community, which is amazing job, right? And especially the new plan from 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒕 𝒂𝒐𝒔, can we offer about 500 room for more affordable housing to students and people in the community, which is amazing thing. For the bill that the governor put on the floor, I think it's a good bill. That can be the first step to can help find more resources and more financial stuff to help fix this crisis in the community and across the Commonwealth, not just in Lowell, but across the Commonwealth and the country as well. And I think that's a first step that a good first step for us to talk about and start working on that together.
Perhaps the most controversial component of the governor's housing is the ADUs by right across the entire state.
Right.
You remember that war in Lowell. You were one of the leading proponents of the ADU ordinance in Lowell. Safe to say you support that part of the governor's bill, and you will support any of these other bills that are up there now. I know there's a bunch of different ones.
Right.
Representative Howard is co-sponsored one, etc. You support those bills and ADUs by right everywhere?
Well, for the bill, I currently at the moment, I'm supporting the bill that Rep. Howard is sponsoring, in the sense of like her bill for ADU is mainly focused on offering people who have elderly or special needs family in the home to able to have their ADU at their house to maintain and work together as a family, which is a really good bill to do so. And my main issue, my main topic for this race is better constituent services in the district, right? I have to listen to the people in the sense of it. If people start to against the by right ADU, we can talk together to work on that and find a better solution to tackle on that. And the bill that for the governor put out for ADU by right, if it doesn't pass in Lowell, that can work with other community across the Commonwealth as well, when it passed at the state level, to help solving our housing crisis slowly. If we don't want it in Lowell, it's fine, but I think that other community across the Commonwealth might need that as well to help solve.
But if her bill passes, Lowell will have no choice at that point, right? Because I think that as written, it doesn't give a community a choice, a city or a town the choice to.
Oh, really?
To change it, yeah.
I thought I probably misread that one. I thought that if
I've been known to be wrong, so yeah. But I think that's an important part of the debate that's going to go forward. Correct. But did I hear correctly that if you kind of start talking to folks during this campaign cycle and you sense there maybe is an overwhelming opposition to it, that you would drop your support for ADU by right?
Well, it's going to depend on how our communication is going, how my way of constituent services in the community would happen when I got elected to the position, right? If over majority in the people in the community come out and against it, then as a state representative, you work for the people and you represent the people. That's where you have to follow the people direction on what they want to see for the better of the community, right? But if the majority come out support it, and then we can have to go with that as well. But that's my main goal in this race, is to have to allow people to have a voice in this kind of problem, this kind of issue that we're discussing right now, right? Better constituent service, better state representative, but at the same time, better community voice into to be a part of what bill, what issue that I can vote on to a better of the Commonwealth and the district, the 18 Middlesex district.
All right, a lot of good discussion there in depth on some of these issues. I'm going to tell you this: as a candidate, and as someone able to speak on these issues, you're miles ahead of where you were 2 years ago. Not for a first-time candidate, you were a good candidate, but I just kind of know, I see a little bit of perhaps that first experience is paying some dividends for you now. But there are so many other issues, and for different people, different issues are at the heart of what they want to see done. How can people find out more about your candidacy, more about your campaign, learn about your stance on the issues? You're not shy about speaking out about the issues. So if people want to learn more, how do they do so, Tara?
Yeah, so everyone can go into my website. It's just tarahong.com. There's issue that I'm planning to advocate for at the State House and bring it to the table at the State House. There's also on my website there's introduction about myself. There's my contact there. You can reach out to ask any question that you have. And at the same time, in there, there's a link there that says registration. Check that out, because I've been working my best to read through bills that are willing to commit and co-sponsor at the State House when first got elected. That's I think about 40 to 50 bills that I put on there so far that are willing to co-sponsor when I got elected. Yeah.
All right. tarahong.com is the website, right? And you're all over Facebook and social media too.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you for coming on in. I really appreciate this discussion. Good luck, and hopefully we can get you guys in here for a debate before the voting starts. And oh God, it's going to start in August.
September 3rd. Yeah,
the election is September
right.
3rd, but with the early voting in mail-in, it's going to be in August.
Right.
So we may have to sit in here on a steamy hot day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tara Hong, candidate for 18th Middlesex State Rep, joining us. I think you'll have a better idea of how he would represent you if he is elected from this discussion. Want to thank everybody for joining us out there. Inside Lowell, as we like to say, if Lowell is your home, this is your place. Till next time, be safe, everybody.